Decommitment season starting early for the Florida State Seminoles as they get off to a 0-2 start with losses to Georgia Tech and Boston College. Both double-digit favorites Florida State was heading into those games. So Myron Charles and Javian Hilson both decommit. Myron Charles commits to Texas. Javian Hilson is crystal balled by the one and only Steve Wiltfong, dropping a fong bong to go to Texas. So Texas could get both of these guys flipped from Florida State after Florida State has just had a horrible start to the season. Now, Javian Hilson is a top 35 player overall in the 2025 class. He's ranked as the second best edge rusher in the country on OM3. So these are two really big flips, and it could be really two big gets for Texas, but two huge losses to Florida State. In an area where they'd want to try to bolster their defensive line, and how important that is to have a very elite defensive line. And I think the hardest part here for Florida State fans is this is the area of the program where you want to improve, where you haven't seen the greatest success, where you need to start excelling more to compete with some of the larger national caliber teams who are competing for national championships. High school recruiting for Florida State and under Mike Norvell has not been to the level and the expectation to where Florida State needs to be competing on that level. They've made improvements and they've leveraged the transfer portal to fill in some holes there, but ultimately the high school recruiting for Florida State has not been up to par, and that's an area where they want to improve, because when you look across the sport, the best rosters still are relying on high school recruiting. So this is an area that they really want to improve upon, and these two decommits, especially this early in the season, could have a trickle-down effect to what other commits will be what their influence will be. So we'll see what happens here, but it's not a good start for Florida State. Follow Big Body Balls CFB on all socials.